It contains a lot of artifacts, over 100 fluted points, over 500 end scrapers that I've been able to catalog. When I first came here, I thought, wow, this is really weird. I wouldn't even look up here. It covers 40 acres. It's not a continuous layer of artifacts.
The public needs educated a lot more. They are very ignorant of the facts, as I was.
What the Shoop Site needs is a radiocarbon date. It seems to be all Onondaga Church from Western New York. The explanation is that they're caribou hunting sites. We can learn a lot about Paleoindian social organization from looking at sites like this.
This morning, I'm visiting the ongoing archaeological excavations at the Shoop Site. This may be the largest Paleoindian site in Pennsylvania. Let's find out what's going on.
But this alignment right here is similar to what we had down there. The Shoop Site was discovered in the 1930s by an avocational archaeologist just by accident, walking across the property on his way home. And he picked up Onondaga Chert, then he started picking up end scrapers, and then he started picking up fluted points. And we really, at that time, we really didn't know all about fluted points the way we do today, but they knew they were old. And John Widoff came up here in the late 1940s, early 1950s, and he and some other people conducted a surface collection of the site, of the plowed fields of the site. And that amounted to about 3,000 artifacts. There were 30 or 40 fluted points, 100 or more end scrapers. So, and this covered 20 acres. And Widoff identified 11 different concentrations. The fluted points are all generally short flutes, generally parallel-sided, not Clovis. They have a deeper indented base, so we think it dates around 10,800, 10,700 radiocarbon years ago. We're in the uplands. We're 9 miles from the Susquehanna River. We're a good distance from the second-order stream. When I first came here, I thought, wow, this is really weird. I wouldn't even look up here. Most Paleoindian sites are down in the big valleys. They're down along third-order streams, or at least in the floodplain, the valley of a third-order stream. This is the closest thing to first-order stream. And it's way high up in terms of altitude, relative altitude in the ridge and valley. So it's an unlikely place, and we would like to get a better handle on the climate at the end of the Pleistocene. You know, what was going on here at 10,800 years of the Younger Dryas, for example, or right before that in the Allerod period. So we'd like to get a better idea on climate, but also vegetation. You know, was this a boreal forest? I don't think so. But, you know, a scrub forest? We don't know. We'd like to get that information. I came out here with the State Museum in 2008, and we put 61 meter squares into what we thought was one of the concentrations, what everybody agreed was one of the concentrations. Bedrock was within 15 centimeters of the surface. We were looking for charcoal. We found 800 or so artifacts, including one whole end scraper. But there's no possibility of finding charcoal. That's all been incorporated into the plow zone. And so since that time, I've been trying to find an area that hasn't been plowed, or a minimal amount of plowing. And I noticed from aerial photographs that this woodlot that we're in now, which is probably 300 meters, 250 meters or so away from these earlier collections, that this has always been in woods. And so we put some test units up here. We started out with shovel test pits when we found some Onondaga chert flakes. We opened up a block, a 3 by 6 meter block in 2021 and 22. and we found about 2,000 artifacts in that block, mostly debitage from sharpening and maintenance of Paleoindian tools. In an effort to see if there were other concentrations like that in the woods, we put out systematic shovel test pits at 5-meter intervals over actually a 100-meter area. And we found a concentration halfway up this hillside that we're on right now. And we've already found 2,000 artifacts here and lots of tools.
This is my 3rd year as a volunteer. Now, most of the time I've been excavating squares or micro squares. Right now we're working with 25 centimeter squares. And we're going down one level at a time, 10 centimeters at a time. In this particular place, we found some large tools or parts of tools, mostly worn out tools. So this is particularly interesting to us. Kurt wants us to maintain the positions of the rocks for record, and Sharon has been making sketches of them, very nice sketches, and other people as well. So we can hopefully make something of all this data that we're taking once we compile it.
What the Shoop Site needs is a radiocarbon date. And we're still looking for charcoal. 30 to 40% of the artifacts have been exposed to excessive fire, so we can see that, so that there were obviously fires here. This was at the end of the Pleistocene, so these people need to heat themselves and cook food. So we're still looking for charcoal, but we're also focusing on these different concentrations. Woodolph said there were 11, but none of them were ever mapped, so we don't know what those, in terms of the activity areas, in terms of the social organization of these people, we don't know what that is based on his collection. So we're trying to find different activity areas or campsites, if you will, in the woods here to get a better idea of exactly how this site was being used. And we've really been able to see patterns already in the artifacts digging in these small units. If I had to do it over again, I'd do 20 centimeter rather than 25s. Or 10s.
We don't have enough work.
Or 10s. But these guys,
10 centimeters.
they whine.
Yeah.
So these guys,
Well, you got a pretty
We'll
good.
get smaller trowels, we'll be good.
whining, crying.
Volunteer, do whatever Kurt needs me to do, and I have equipment, so that comes in handy too. But we use my house as the base camp. We kind of spread out from there, and I run the total station, screening, digging, laying out, do some mapping at the house if he needs it. We do cataloging in the winter. We started off with Kurt wanted to get as much of the local collections cataloged as we could, so we've been doing that with permission from the owners. Been doing weight, characteristics, linear measurements, description of the artifacts, the material, the usual things you'd catalog, what the material is, has it been fire altered, et cetera, putting that into a spreadsheet. Sharon does a lot of the spreadsheet work once we get it entered. So we put it onto a sheet, handwritten first, then she enters it into the database.
It's almost all paleo. And where we've been digging, it's nothing but paleo. It's one of the largest in area. It covers 40 acres. We didn't know this until we started putting holes up here. It's not a continuous layer of artifacts, even light densities of artifacts. There are areas within that 40 acres that don't contain any artifacts. Over 100 fluted points. Many are in private collections, and some estimates it's 120. But also end scrapers. There's over 500 end scrapers that I've been able to catalog, side scrapers. So it has a unique technology. It's very large. And sites like this have been found not as large. There's some that are larger. Bull Brook, for example, is larger than this site. But there are similar sites that have been recorded with high densities of points and end scrapers that have been identified in New England. And the explanation is that they're caribou hunting sites. And so this looks like a caribou hunting site, yet it's many miles below the glacial front. We certainly don't have any remains of caribou, but it seems to fit that explanation. Lots of killing tools, lots of hide processing tools. So yeah, it's unique in terms of its function, certainly in the mid-Atlantic and to the south. So this is a relatively small spot, certainly compared to that one down there.
Do you think they're little habitation sites?
We don't really know. Now that, I think, is a habitation site. Every Paleo-Indian tool that you can imagine was there, so lots of different activities. This is end scrapers. They were making fluted points. We found a channel flake. So they were doing that here. Side scrapers. We found one wedge. I don't know what to say. They were certainly discarding end scrapers here and breaking side scrapers. All the side scrapers are broken. Those are long, narrow flakes that he has complete, whereas we just find broken ones. We didn't find anything like that down there. And I think we found one end scraper bit. That was it down there. So it's a different, yeah. But we're only on the edge of whatever we're digging. So this is some kind of activity, and it's small. It seems to be all Onondaga Church from western New York, Divers Lake. Frank Vento looked at thin sections, looked at fossils, and he said Divers Lake. Christina Reith at the New York State Museum, she did XRF analysis, and she also said Onondaga Church. Somewhat east of Divers Lake, but she said Onondaga Church. That's 250 miles away. And that's the other issue about this site is these different clusters. John Woodhoff said these are different occupations, different visits, so 11 different visits to the site. The fact that it's all Onondaga Church, that the Onondaga Church comes from 250 miles away, I don't believe that people would make 11 visits to this place. This isn't a gold mine. They undoubtedly could get caribou in New York State someplace. They traveled down here for some reason, and I'm sure it was food and furs, but I don't think they made it that often. I'd be surprised if they came down here more than 5 times, and conceivably just one time. This is a one visit by a large group. This could be a group gathering place. And we know Paleo-Indian had those kinds of sites. Usually they were centered on lithic material. So at the quarries, the Thunderbird site, for example, in Virginia, you find a very large, heavily occupied site, which is a meeting place for several different bands. I think that this was that also. That's to account for the incredible quantity of artifacts and tools, but also for the size of this site, these different concentrations. I think that we're dealing with, a small number of visits. So we can learn a lot about Paleo-Indian social organization from looking at sites like this.
Want to convey?
It's all, it's all great. It's all very interesting. The public needs educated a lot more. They are very ignorant of the facts, as I was, of what we have here in this area and in Pennsylvania in general. Pennsylvania's, in my opinion, one of the best kept historical secrets in the nation. So that, how nice the locals are that have been working with us, and yeah.
I'm really thankful for the good weather here. We're in the shade most of the day. For Scott Miller and his wife Teresa for letting us do this, and also for the volunteers that come out and work here. I think it's a great experience. And it's, I'm retired. I've been retired a couple of years now. I can't even remember what it was. But yeah, this is my hobby. And I will continue this for a long period of time.